Hi, David. How are you doing?
Hi, Adam. Well, I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Yeah, perfect. Perfect. So podcast is no leisure time. Uh, how good is your memory today?
Well, it's quite early for me today, but I think my memory serves me well.
Early. You are in Slovakia or Czechia?
I'm in Czechia. I'm in Prague actually right now, but
Okay.
I'm used to get up at 9 a.m. Even though now it's a little bit later. But I'm taking quite a long time when I'm waking up with my coffee and stuff like that. So because of that, but otherwise,
So to the
perfectly fine.
audience, now we have 10 a.m. and David is sleepy, right? So that you know, not that you're all your in your company, the people who know what's going on, in Prague. Okay, cool. So hence your memory is good. What was your first computer?
Oh, my first computer? That's kind of hard to say because I was actually growing up around computers because my father worked for Microsoft, and
Wow.
I was in this environment the whole time since the beginning. I mean, since my childhood. But if we are talking about my first computer, like
It doesn't
my
have to be
first,
your computer.
right?
Maybe if the computers were around, what you did with the first computer? Maybe this is better question.
Yeah, I was basically just playing game there, and I mean, I've been playing games on computers basically since the beginning. When I was allowed to play on computers or basically do anything with them, and I've started specialized to do something else, some work such as programming or even the schoolwork and stuff. Basically during later years, but the beginnings are mainly games and nothing else because nothing else
Which
interested me.
games? Which games?
Basically, I recall the first game I really loved and I really played since for quite some time is actually Age of Empires 2. This is like the first
Mhm.
game I have played, and I have played it very long time. So this was something what was interesting to me.
I
Um,
also tried the game, but I'm not sure whether it was two. But Age of Empires, it was Microsoft game, I think, and it
yeah,
was like you had to gather your resources. It was
exactly.
like an ancient empire, and there was
Yeah.
like a tactic or strategy game, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that was the strategy game, and exactly it was from Microsoft because, as mentioned, my father worked there, and he was able to basically bring those games to me. So I was playing them, and yeah, that was the first love I had.
But it's a good game actually.
Yeah, it's a really good one. I
Mhm.
like it till these days, and I'm actually occasionally playing it still. So
And when the second version came out, but I have no idea whether I played the first one or the second one. You know it?
The first one I do recall seeing my father playing it, and I do not know the date. To be fair, I mean the year or something. I just know that it was before my father basically allowed me to play anything on computer or
Mhm.
being on the computer. So I'm not exactly sure, but it's quite a long
But
time.
the second version, you know when the second version came out?
That's a very good question. Not
I assume
sure.
if I played Age of Empire, I played Age of Empire, but it was around year 2000. So I
Yeah.
think it was the first one.
Definitely, that was that something around that, and I think even earlier a bit, something like 98 or something like that. But I would have to
Yeah.
check.
Okay.
This is like a wild guess to me because
No problem. So
I
so, so
really
you
don't
so
know.
you enjoyed strategy games, right?
Yeah,
So this is what you enjoyed. Okay,
very
cool.
much so. Yeah.
So and okay, you played and how you started to do something different to gaming.
Yeah, that was basically connected to the schools because you had to do some assignments at home
Mhm.
and stuff like that. And I think it mainly started when I went to high school
Mhm.
because I went to specialized high school for ITs, right? And suddenly tasks for programming started and stuff like that, and I had to basically be on the computer, do there something else than playing and uh, learn the stuff. So that's basically the start of it when I started programming, and I found out that this is the way I want to go because till that time I just knew that I want to work in IT. that I would like to be an IT guy and stuff like that. But I didn't know the area which I would like to focus on. And this was basically the.
So what you did at school? You started to create auto batch files or what?
This was
it was auto exec batch, right? Not batch. Auto exec batch was the name, I think. .bat.
Yeah, this is actually something we didn't do, but I did VisualBasic. I think was the first programming language, if I recall correctly. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And what you did? Just created some UI or what?
Exactly. Yeah, just very simple UIs usually, and I don't know, some stuff like calculators and just basic assignments. It's just really for practicing. But I programmed myself also some other tools. Funny thing is, I do not recall which tools it was, but I was really programming a lot because I was enjoying it, and I was trying to find myself as many as possible tasks to do myself. So,
which year was it roughly? I think 2006.
Yeah, it was something like 2006, 2007, something like that. Exactly those years, because those years I've been to high school. Yeah.
Okay. And which programs you wrote, you remember? Because what interests me in motivation? No, there were some programs and you were motivated and you wanted to create more software. But why? What you would like to implement? What was your goal?
Well, I think that for most of the starting developers or beginning developers, it's like, I want to program games because I like playing games and stuff like that. So
exactly.
That was basically the starting motivation for me. And the second one was that I just simply loved to be able to say computer what to do. Like, and now if I run this, you will, I don't know, perform this operation, then you will do this one and stuff like that. And I really enjoy that because since that till that time, better to say, it was always like I'm depending on how someone else programmed the code or the program itself. And suddenly, since I found out how to program, it was like completely the other way, because it was up to me how I program it and what the program will do. So that was something I really enjoyed. And I didn't create basically any game, even though that was the starting motivation, because I was constantly feeling that I lack knowledge to do so. I mean, back in the day, during those times. And I was kind of scared, even start, and I wasn't sure where to start, and I wasn't sure whether VisualBasic is actually a good programming language to use for games. So my first game, or basically this primal motivation of mine, came to some let's say first drafts or first attempts when I was at university, where I started with Java.
Oh, with Java. So you tried to create your first game in Java.
Yeah, I actually started doing some very, very easy games in Java, because that's actually even one of the assignments, or it still is actually one of the assignments on the university I was attending to. And you are creating there your text-based game. So it's really just simple performing some commands from command line, and and this game is taking those commands and performing some operation based on that. So that was like the first game I have done, and it was fun. Yeah.
So you started with Java because of university?
Yeah, exactly. Mainly. Yeah.
Okay. And this was text-based game, right?
Yeah.
So, and you enjoyed Java, or you missed VisualBasic, or what was your impression?
Yeah. Well, I actually at the start I didn't like Java because I was very used to VisualBasic. That was something I have done for several years, and I was very fond of how to program in it. But then when I saw Java, and when I were basically forced to do something with it, I actually found out that it's for my use. For my usage, it's much more flexible. It's much more interesting, and I have decided that I will basically drop Visual Basic completely. And I think I haven't programmed in it basically since then. And I was completely just mainly focusing on the Java itself.
Okay. And which IDE you used back then? Notepad or?
Back in the day, we used NetBeans.
This is what I thought, because in Prague you have to use NetBeans, and you remember the version 5 or 6?
This. Oh my! This was, I think, 5.
Mm-hmm. It's around the time, so
yeah, because this number pops up in my mind for some reason. So I think it was 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you also used, the UI builder with Matisse, I guess, Swing, right? So
yeah,
or was it?
Yeah.
Pretty cool. So you enjoyed the NetBeans, or?
Yes, I did, and I was using it basically the whole time I was developing in Java until I became a part of Oracle, but it was a little bit later. But yes, I really did enjoy it, because I was thinking basically that the NetBeans are the best the best IDE. I really did like it. So yeah,
I also like it because it is it ships with everything out of the box, so there's battery included, so there are no plugins to fiddle, nothing. It's just you open and you can do whatever you like. So this is what I really like the experience. And I'm a consultant, so my clients also enjoy that, because they download the NetBeans and open the project. It could be productive, And with Eclipse back then, it was terrible, because you had to find out which plugins to use. There were too many options. This was the problem a bit.
Yeah, and I always had problem with Eclipse that something didn't work. Something for some reason didn't work. Some combination of plugin didn't work.
Yeah.
And I had so much problems with that. So even though I was experimenting with it, I have decided not to use it. So
yeah, for me it was even worse, because I had some plugins which were prescribed by my clients, so I have to switch between workspaces, because it was impossible to have there were some clients some plugins which were colliding, right? So you couldn't use both at the same time. So okay, so but you didn't actually answer the question. So the first computer you touched, what was it? Was it HP? Was it Pentium? Or what was it, the first computer?
To be fair, I don't know which computer that was. I just know that it was standing next to the table, and that's basically all I know about the computer.
Okay. and the first computer you got, you remember
the first
that?
computer I got, that was during the high school studies, and that was a laptop from HP, but I do not recall the name.
But Pentium, really, maybe something like that.
Oh, that's really hard to say.
Funny enough, I also had back then, and why I'm asking, because I also, around 2000 had maybe a little bit later an HP laptop, and really enjoyed that. I also forgot the name, but it was an HP, and it was quite a good one, actually. I really enjoyed it.
I love that as well. My father got it for me at work with some nice discount. I mean, it wasn't used or anything. It was just like with discounted price. So they were using HP laptops there quite a lot, as far as I know, back in the day. And that was the reason why I had it. And I was really satisfied with it. It was great.
I forgot the name as well, but it was the prominent name for they had a distinct name, the HP laptops, and and then I had the Lenovo, which I enjoyed the Lenovo even more. Lenovo was my dream, but it was very expensive back. Not Lenovo, ThinkPad, IBM ThinkPad.
Yeah,
Lenovo was after, so IBM ThinkPad was the best machine ever, and really enjoyed that. Okay, so during university, you just program Java, the game. So the game it was assignment. So I would say not that exciting. Have you implemented something during the university for your own? So just for fun, or you worked or with Java?
Yeah, I actually did. I was developing quite a lot for Minecraft because it's a playing game. So when you are playing game such as Minecraft, you are, I don't know, building something and stuff like that. And I found out that you can actually implement your own plugins to it with Java.
Mm-hmm.
That you can extend the game, you can modify it in some way. And since it was in Java, and I wanted to get better in Java, and I was lacking ideas what to do, what to program, I was thinking, hey, why not to combine something I like, such as playing games, and being able to extend some already existing game with some added functionality, which also others could enjoy, because those games and programs which I would otherwise program for myself would be basically something only I would use, basically no one else. And this was a way for me to produce applications for also others to enjoy. And I had a server back then which contained these custom plugins of mine, and I was developing it based on the feedback of the users which were playing there. And yeah, basically that was my motivation, because it brought some fresh ideas what to program, because I always had a problem that I didn't know what I wanna do on as a programmer. I mean, I didn't have the idea which program I could create, because yes, I could create calculator, but you can't create like thousands of them because it's not fun,
Yeah.
right?
But what you did with the what you did with the Minecraft plugin? So what which features you implemented? This
Right.
is maybe the question.
Yeah, I started with some really basic ones, such as authentication and authorization as well for the users. Yeah, back then I was storing the passwords in the plane. Then I found out that it's not exactly the best way, but this is something I have started with. This was like the first thing I did. And then I was programming some protective plugins, which were protecting certain areas in the world, and stuff like that. Those were like the core, because there were constantly someone who was destroying something, and yeah, just people. So I was trying to protect as much as possible. I mean, the players and their includes property, because they were building some houses there, right, and stuff like that. So yeah, and later then I've been implementing some more interesting, let's say, projects, such as traveling system, because I was thinking that I would like to improve the traveling, the ability of players to explore. And that was one of the coolest plugin I have done, I think, because it was about the Stargates. And those Stargates were generated in the world as the world was generating. And so the player could just enter some random address, because there was also a address bar which I could use, and suddenly the Stargate opened up, and when he passed through it, basically he teleported to that place where the second Stargate was, and this was how I did it.
And the Stargates look like a Stargate?
Exactly, yeah. It looked like a Stargate. It had even the flashing lights for the symbols, and there was everything like that. It was really
how long you spent? So how much time you spent implementing the Stargate?
You mean this particular goal?
Yeah. Just a rough estimation.
Yeah. It was, I don't know. It was like 2 months, 3 months maybe, because back in the day when I was doing this, I actually wasn't using inheritance or anything, so I was basically duplicating the code all the time, and it took me quite a long time to basically find all the bugs and everything, because with the duplicated code, there were required quite a lot of changes, which were basically on the numbers, but I always missed something. So it really took some time to do that. But then actually on this particular project, I found out what are the strengths of the inheritance and why we should use it. And this was the project which taught me. So I found it out myself, and I'm basically using it ever since.
Even in real world, let's say I would implement a Stargate in Minecraft. So if I would try, to use inheritance right now, I would do it wrong because I'm not, I don't know how Minecraft operates. So I think it's actually good practice to write simple code first, see what, and bad code even, see what happens, and then refactor, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe it is faster this way than if you would start, to study the inheritance and draw some UML diagrams. I don't think the Stargate will happen, right? So this would be... Yeah. So maybe you would have a bunch of diagrams, but not a working software, I would say.
This is actually what I'm saying to my students because I'm leading one of the courses at the university.
Wow.
And I'm always telling my students, just try to program something. It doesn't matter that the code is bad. It doesn't look good or whatever. It's not important at this point. The most important thing is just to do the code, make it work, and you can get better later. You can optimize it. You can clean it up. You can do whatever later on. It's,
And even if I write code right now, so what happens is I say, okay, this code is bad. But I say, okay, if I would improve it right now, I will have to write this class, and this class, and actually have no time. So I only have to remember that the code is bad. I write the code right now, which is very simple. And if it works, then I improve it. It's also more fun. Yeah. So I really have to catch myself. Say, hey, you don't know rewriting, refactoring immediately. So I check in the not suboptimal code first, make it work, think about this, and then if you know that it's working, somehow you got also better ideas how to improve it. You know? Don't improve immediately, I would say, right?
Exactly. Because and to be fair, it's even more fun to just program something, see that it works, see that it does what you want, and then optimize it, then change it. I like this approach much better than just doing it the in quotes the best way on the first try. You will never do it the best way on the first try.
No, you never do it. You could also do it if you would write, the same software over and over again. Then you can do it. But the problem I have is all my projects are different.
Yeah.
So I learned something about the domain in this project, and the next project is completely different. So I still starting with zero. I have some ideas what could work and what doesn't. But interesting. So you are a professor right now.
No, I am actually not a professor because that would require me to have the title. But I'm a teacher there because that's something I like. I enjoy teaching others or giving
at the university. You're teaching at the university?
Yeah, on the same one actually. I used to work. I used to study. And I'm teaching the same subject which brought me to Java. So
this is good memories, right?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I really like it. It's awesome. And even the better is when some of your students came back and they say, "Hey, you got me to Java, and I really loved it, and I'm doing the Java right now because of that." And it's mission accomplished.
Yeah, very good. Okay, so is the plugin still operational, Stargate?
Well, yes, it is. My server is still running, even though right now it's hidden. I mean, I'm still having this server, but it's not maintained or anything. So I basically forbid everyone to join it. I mean, some random players. So yeah, I'm still having it, but it's not something I would invite others to play right now.
But the plugin, is it a server-side plugin or is it client-side plugin?
It's a server-side.
So if you have the plugin on the server, do you have to change something on the clients, or you can just go with?
That was the basically main idea of mine. I don't mind changing something on the client side, but since I know how users are, not all of them are very tech savvy, and it very often happens that if you will tell them, "Hey, just download this. insert this into this into this folder, they will just do it wrong, and they will insert it into incorrect folder, and it's just something I have really been trying to avoid, basically at all costs. And I was developing this plugin mainly server side to basically do everything myself, because I knew that I will do it right. I mean, to make it operational, not the coding necessarily, but that it will not be up to user do anything. They will just connect, and everything will work with whichever whatever version they will be connecting there.
Okay. And how the plugin mechanism in Minecraft is working? So is this like you hacked Minecraft, or are there places where you can put something? So is it like service loader based, or what? How it is working?
There are some community projects which you can use, which are basically changing the Minecraft code itself and adding this extensibility functional extensibility thing.
Extensions.
So, extensions, yeah, that's probably the best term for it. So I have used one of those, and it provides you some form of hooks, listeners for events and stuff like that. So you can just implement those, and you can react. For example, I don't know, if player mines a block. I mean, if he breaks it, for example, right, you will get a notification, or your program will get a notification, and you can do whatever. So,
but the hooks and whatever. So, what I understand, was Minecraft meant to be extensible, or community hacked Minecraft
it's
to be
community
extensible?
hack. It's community hack. Minecraft itself, to be fair, I don't know right now, because I'm quite a lot of years out of the picture. But I think or mainly back in the day when I was developing it, it wasn't meant to be extensible. It wasn't meant for any user extensions to be programmed.
So you have to decompile the code, or what?
Yes,
right?
they did. Not me, but yes, the community itself had to do it.
It's interesting that they didn't open source that, right? Because they could. I mean, there would be not a big
Exactly.
deal. It wouldn't hurt them, I would say, because the community did it anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. This is something I was always puzzled about, because the Minecraft itself, or the game itself, is basically live from those servers which are modified in some way, because players are looking for those servers mainly. They are mainly playing those, or at least that was back in the day. I don't know how it's not right now.
How big was your server? How many participants do you had?
It was like during the best times, I had 50 slots, I think. So for 50 users, and I was hitting the maximum, but usually like the really medium size of players or connected players was 25, 30, something like that.
And how big had to be the machines or RAM on the CPU? You remember that to handle 50 players?
Oh, I was having. I'm having it hosted on some in some hosting company.
But still interesting, the cores and the memory. Or heap in Java.
I'm having some other specifications, but I do not recall from top of my head. But I can look it up.
No. How many cores and how much RAM is always interesting.
Yeah, the RAM, I think it was like 5 gigs or something like that. I was having.
Okay.
Or maybe slightly more, but the course I do not recall. Really.
Okay, just interesting. Yeah. Okay, and then you stopped doing Minecraft because you got a real job, or?
Well, yes, partially, because finally I had something to do. Something to do in terms of some ideas what to program, because I started working for Oracle. And suddenly I had some fresh ideas of what I can program myself. And mainly those ideas were based on the stuff I've been doing for Oracle back in the day. So, that was the main motivation, or the main driver why to stop doing this Minecraft stuff.
Okay, and what you did then? So you said you had the idea what to do. So you joined a company or what, or you created a startup, or Minecraft 2, or Age of Minecraft.
No, I joined Oracle and I started working on the that was the new spec or the new implementation. That was the JSON and the JSON-B API, and
Wow.
I was basically hired to start working on that.
Okay, and how you were hired? I mean,
it was I worked for some other company, which was for some software house as a student, and when I was thinking, okay, so I don't like this that much. I think something has to be done. I'm not exactly satisfied, and I found out that really at the same time, LinkedIn suggested me that Oracle is hiring. Oracle is searching for a junior developer, and they don't mind that I would be a student at the same time. So I was thinking, okay, this sounds interesting, and I checked out what that is about, and it was for Eclipse Link team. I mean, the
JPA.
yeah. And so I applied because I wanted to develop the libraries. I always liked much more the feeling of it, doing the libraries instead of programs like for financial institutions.
Yeah, but your Stargate plugins were kind of library as well, right? So I mean,
exactly.
It was like
So I like that much more.
So you were influenced by Minecraft, right?
I guess so. Yeah. I think
so you basically you implemented Minecraft, and then by accident you were still a student. You saw the ad from Oracle and say, a good idea, let's try it, right?
Yeah. And actually they reached out right after I have sent my curriculum, and they said, sorry, we are no longer hiring juniors because the manager wants only the senior. And I was, oh my, no. Okay, so some other time, and they changed it like in a week. I got a response again. Okay, it changed. Now you can reapply. So I did, and then I had some interviews, and after some time I got hired.
Were the interviews hard?
No, it wasn't. It was decently hard. I mean,
okay,
not like that you would be sweating there and not knowing answers. I think I was more nervous than I had to be because I really wanted to succeed. I really wanted to join Oracle, so I was really nervous about this. But
why you wanted to join Oracle? It's like this was like
I think that the main motivation for me was that it's like the company which is doing Java. And I was thinking, okay, so if I would like to do the Java, if I would like to do the libraries, because this is something what really interests me, what's the better place to start? Or at least that was the thinking of mine back in the day.
Yeah.
What's the better place to start than Oracle? And when this opportunity came up, I decided to take it.
Yeah, this is a good thinking. So, you became a Java fanboy back then, right? So with your Minecraft, so you really like Java. Say, okay, I would like to work with Java. What is the best possible place to work with Java? And of course, Oracle. So if you're working on the core, it's the best possible thing you can get. Okay, so you applied, but you didn't got the job at Eclipse Link, right? So what I understood,
I got the job which I applied for because I was hired to the Eclipse Link team. But they were forming like a new, I don't know how to call it, and I don't know how I would describe it. It was like a sub team or whatever. Basically, a new group of employees which would be working on that JSON-B API and the JSON. But since I was really a junior guy, I wasn't sent to do the API itself. I was mainly there just to observe and see how the process works and stuff like that. So there was a more senior guy doing that. But I was helping him with the implementation or the initial implementation of the JSON. So that's what I've been a participant of. And that was really the first assignment, the first thing why I was hired to the Oracle.
But the JSON was Eclipse, right? Project, and there was a JSON binding as well. The JSON binding with the nice Duke logo.
Yeah.
And there was a JSON project from Eclipse.
Yes.
Right? So
it was, we donated that to Eclipse, but we were developing it.
Okay. And this was JSON binding, not JSON-P, JSON-B, right?
Yeah, JSON-B. Sorry, if I was...
No. I just trying, to, because... and you were from beginning.
Yeah.
Participate in the project. Interesting. Because I also used that from beginning, and it worked really good. So...
Yeah, glad to hear that.
So, and how was the process? So was it like, because you watched the process, so how was the process back then?
Well, from what I can say, from what I've seen, because, I've been student, so I wasn't present to all the decisions and all the stuff. But what I've seen, basically the decision process and the spec forming was mainly over the emails and stuff like that. So the guys were discussing which features should be there, how they should look like, and whether something is a good design or something is not, and stuff like that. Basically, this was something how it looked like. And when something came up during the implementation of this initial implementation of the JSON, there were some additional discussion. For example, I don't know, introducing the adapters which we are having in the JSON-B API and stuff like that, and how they should behave and so
and were lots of tests going on,
it actually started as a test-driven development. That guys were written tests first, and then we were implementing the JSON based on that. So this was how it started. To be fair, I do not recall whether we kept this approach until the very end, but I know that this was the initial idea and initial way of doing this.
Okay, because this always if I clone the how to call it, Oracle or Java project, Java E related project, I was impressed, with the tests, because there's lots of thought about testing, unit testing, also interesting way how they test stuff. So it's a little bit different what I'm doing. So this is why I'm asking. It's interesting.
Yeah.
And
we are just always trying to make tests for hopefully every feature we are adding, if it is possible, obviously, to do it, because sometimes it's not that easy. So we are trying to have a good test coverage in general.
I mean, tests are less important for the features, but what are more important is now to find out that a new feature breaks the old one, right? So it's like to keep the documenting your decisions is very important, because the software becomes complex. No one remembers anymore why we changed that in this particular time and why this new feature breaks this. So if you have the test, at least you can rerun the test, and if it breaks, you can say, okay, look at the commit spec. Then it's somehow it is it improves the memory, right? So this is like the tests are like the memory of the project.
Exactly. It's one of the, actually, I would say that this is one of the reasons why test exists, basically to for you to be able to verify that everything works and nothing was broken with the new features and also with the old features. So that's the reason why we are doing the tests in general.
And if we break the code, always the trivial things, right? So what I did actually today by accident, I couldn't test on feature because it was only available in different environment. But what I forgot is this was formatted, and I forgot was percent and forgot the S. And I say, okay, it doesn't matter. And of course, it was a part of the log, and it broke everything, right? Interesting, because if you forget it, so it cannot be logged, so everything stopped. Yeah. Of course, not a big deal because it was in the CI/CD, but if it can break, it will break. So this is and I don't know about you, but I'm usually doing the most stupid possible mistakes, and then you never find them because it's impossible. And this is better to write a little bit more tests. And you move faster because you will save time, with that. So I found this immediately, but I was surprised that I overlooked the S. This would surprise me. So actually, I should see this, but I didn't. So I just because it was too trivial. I said, okay, who cares? Just change it and push it. And this was the problem.
To be fair, I know exactly what you mean because, for example, right now what I'm working on in Oracle, I was developing there one security feature, and this was feature which was enhancing some other one, and I knew that the basic functionality of the previous feature was working very fine, but I was extending it. And when I was testing it, I was testing really hard. I was really trying to cover all the possible cases which I could come up with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I didn't test the basic one. And we didn't have a test for it. And when I said, yeah, it works, everything passed. The pipeline passed as well. We released, and we suddenly found out that the basic functionality didn't work. And I was, oh my God, because I didn't realize that it will actually affect the basic one as well, because it was about the security provider. And it's really hard to test it properly. So
yeah.
So I said, okay, enough. I will create tests for it, and I created some tests which are covering this as well. And this, right now it's covered.
Yeah, this is always the same story. But JSON. So you delivered successfully JSON, and this was part of Java EE 6 or 8.
I think 8.
8.
I don't know right 6, now, to be fair.
Java E5 was first with annotations, Java E6 was, I think, CDI, and Java E8 was JSON-B, and Java E7 was a minor one.
Yeah, I think it was 8, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so you delivered. I use that all the time. I'm still using, actually, this, the JSON-B and JSON-P both. And also a secret feature where you can, with JSON-B, get access to JSON-P, because you can deserialize Java classes to JSON-P with JSON-B. And so... what about the performance? Were there any performance tests? Was it do you want it or do your team wanted to have the best, the fastest implementation, or was not the issue back then?
To be fair, I don't know about this decision back then, because I was the junior guy, which was not there that often, but because of I was studying, right? But the performance itself wasn't the best. I mean, that's something I found out later when I was working on it, and I was trying to do some improvements, and I found out that we are actually lacking performance, and I was not satisfied with it. So because of those stuff, I have decided to rewrite it. And like a year ago, or maybe even 2 years ago already, I rewrote the serialization and deserialization part from scratch, basically. And I did it a bit differently. I'm caching everything, and it's much faster than it used to be. I got to multiple times the performance we had before. So it's much better now in terms of performance, but I do not know whether there were any concerns about the performance with the first release or even the second one.
So you save my projects, because I always started with JSON-B, and last year I also started with JSON-B, and I say it should be slower, but somehow it works. So I kept using this, and it works, right? So and I thought we will have to switch to a different provider, but it just worked just fine. So your changes were released last year, or what?
Yeah, something like that. With the JSON-free, those changes came up because those were the major refactorings, and we were introducing some backwards incompatible changes, but really minor ones. But even though we had to release the major version, so.
And where JSON is actually used? Is JSON used in Helidon, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Quarkus,
I think they do have integration with it as well.
Mm-hmm. Smora is related to no. Because this Smora is the microprofile implementation. What interests me, how many servers are based on JSON, and what are the competitors, the open source competitors to JSON?
We are having competitors in form of, for example, oh my God, and now I do not recall the name. It's, oh my God.
One competitor is funny. It's like something with pony. Wait a second.
Oh my my God. Really, the name, I always had it in mind. Let me Google that.
No problem.
Oh, how I couldn't remember that. Johnson, for example, is one of
Johnson.
our
Exactly. This is
direct
the
competitor.
from Tommy.
Yeah,
Tommy
exactly.
Johnson.
Exactly. Yes. Those.
Yeah, it is Tommy Johnson. Exactly.
Yeah.
So there was a Johnson and JSON. Exactly.
And this is like the direct competitor of ours. So yeah.
And you're still working on JSON-B?
To be fair, these days I'm still like a member of the team. I'm still the committer to the project. But these days I'm really heavily occupied with the Helidon, and there is really not much time to do anything in this area, unfortunately, because I really do like the project itself. And
yeah, but I mean, Helidon claims to be the fastest, and if Helidon uses JSON, it's also part of the job to have the fastest serializer, right?
what we are doing is that we are having multiple different implementations, or not like we are having different integrations. That's the word. Integrations with other frameworks. So we are having JSON there. We are having JSON. And if anyone wants, for example, JSON-Iter, or how it's called properly, it can be integrated very easily as well. And I'm not sure whether I should be saying it. I will. Something I am doing as my pet project is actually a compile time generated JSON processor, JSON binding, and stuff like that. That's something.
What's the name of the project?
Sorry.
What's the name of the project?
That's not something available yet. This is something basically I'm working on my free time. This is my pet project, which I'm currently developing. But this is something we will be very soon discussing in team, whether we would like to include it into the Helidon or what we would like to do with it.
This I ask myself. One, there is no effort in performance. You already see, my questions regarding JSON-B and whether someone is working on it, and you are the perfect, because this is a very important project, to have a crazy fast implementation or implementation. Yeah, crazy fast implementation. What I actually wanted to say, crazy fast serialization, deserialization. And even in the cloud, it's even more important, if in startup times and stuff like that. So just great projects. I'm really curious. So if this is somehow public, you have to ping me. So we record another episode just about that. What were design thoughts, how it works is a highly interesting topic, I would say.
Sure thing. If you will decide to continue with that, I will definitely let you know.
Now you have all the listeners will ping you and say, "Hey, go on. We need a faster JSON." Yeah, exactly. So how much faster was the JSON 3 comparing to the previous versions?
It was like 4 times faster, I think, with the performance test I have done, because I found that, not the serialization part, but the deserialization was in certain cases 4 or 5 times faster, because we were not caching anything or not the most important stuff. And that was something I have decided to do because I think really it's what it should be doing, right? We shouldn't be creating all the deserializers and everything with every operation again and again. It should be cached. It should be reused. Then the proper performance will appear, but not like doing it all over again. If this result is the same, it doesn't make sense. So I cached everything, and really, in some cases, the fastest I could measure was like the 5 times, even more, I think. But I do not have any concrete numbers right now anywhere here. But I remember doing those, and I was quite satisfied with it.
What is the comparison to Jackson?
We were still a little bit slower than the Jackson is, but I think that the main limitation for currently is JSON-B, because we are using that under the hood. And JSON-B, even though it's a cool framework, I really like working with it because it's really simple to use. But the performance itself, it's not like the best one, because there is quite a few places which could be improved in terms of performance. And because you can do quite a lot of stuff with the bytes instead of using some expensive operations with the reader and reading the characters itself and stuff like that. You can do quite a lot of
It would
stuff.
be a cool assignment project for your students.
That would, but unfortunately, our university is not usually, let's say, producing developers or the stuff or the people which will be doing the code in general. Those guys which we are producing in the university in that particular one are mainly meant to be managers, analytics, and people like that. This
could be cool for manager, to have a little break of the PowerPoints, to improve the performance of JSON CLI. This would be actually, a cool.
Yeah.
This is like a work-life balance, right? So at work you will just create, the management stuff and manage the projects, and in the leisure you can improve the performance of JSON-B, right? JSON-P, sorry.
That would be nice, yeah.
Yeah. Another question regarding JSON-B. Is the context, this is the JSON-B, I think it's just JSON-B. Mm-hmm. Is it a thread safe? So can you access it from various threads?
Yes.
Or
yes.
Okay. Because I always wanted to know. Yeah. I read the Java docs saying it is thread safe, but actually, if I can I use it in the application scope, or do I have to use a request scope for that, for instance?
I think there should be no issues with multiple threads using it. Actually, that was one of the questions I asked my colleague when he was developing it, and during the initial mm-hmm. phases of the project. And I asked him what happens if I run it from the two threads at the same time, if there can be collisions. And he told me that it's fine. So, it wasn't 100% fine back in the day, but right now, and if I recall correctly, the code, there is no point in which we are storing basically anything in the fields or something like that. Everything should be cached, and it's done in the methods itself. So it should be really fine.
Yeah, pretty cool. So, and how you stopped, contributing to JSON-B and started at Helidon project? So how this happened in transition?
I've been working on Helidon basically the same time. I was also doing this JSON stuff and JSON-B API stuff. But then more assignments came up with the Helidon, such as...
but how it's possible to work on Helidon in the other project? Because you were supposed to work on Eclipse Link, mm-hmm. and you worked on Helidon. So how this happened?
Yeah, one day we got a message basically that they would like to create a new, or basically the idea raised, that we would like to create a new project. And some part of the team, which was originally the Eclipse Link, and should be working on that as well. And so, yeah, this is how it happened. But basically, the idea of creating this microservice framework came up, and we liked it. So we have decided basically to shift the resources out of the different other projects. Okay. And right now, basically nearly every one of us is working on some other projects, such as, I don't know, the JSON-B in my case, and JSON, and also on Helidon, that we are divided among several projects, but like the Helidon has the highest priority, and that's the reason why I'm currently not having any time working on other projects. But if it's really needed, if I'm really asked to do so, either by community, that there is someone who needs to review their pull request or something, I can spend some time on it. But really, my main focus, my main allocation right now, from my manager's perspective, is the Helidon.
Mm-hmm. You remember when the project started with Helidon?
That was 2003. 2017 or 16, 2016, I think, if memory serves me right. Because the 17, I was finishing up the school, and I was joining as a full-time employee. And if I recall correctly, that was already the time when the Helidon, or the project with a different name, because when we were working on it, it had a different name. So
what was the name?
That was J4C. We called it
J4C.
J4C, Java for Cloud. That was the code name of it. And that was what we are already working on. So I think 2016.
So why I'm asking, because I think it was 2017 or 2018 Java 1, and I watched the first presentation of Helidon, one of the first. And I saw, the website, which was beautiful back then, and I saw interesting framework, Java framework, and then at the end I found out this Oracle. And I said, it's impossible. Then, it didn't felt like Oracle. It was like interesting, fresh, and nice design. Everything was right. And then I say, Oracle is interesting. Then
doesn't happen.
What happened exactly? And and I also had some chat already with Dmitry Kornilov about JSON-B, and he was a project lead, I think, right, or something.
Yes, he actually still is. He wanted to delegate it to me, but we didn't get it to the point of doing it. So
don't do it, because then you will never ever know write code again. So it's a really bad idea to become a manager. I think the Dimitri show play with the slides, and you should keep cranking code. So there is usually no way back. So I always ask managers, do you miss the old days coding? And everyone says yes. So I think only in rare cases, someone says, okay, it's actually also nice, right?
I actually think they do, because at least in terms of Dimitri, he actually used to be a developer. So
a good one.
Basically, by the way, the JSON-B API was Dimitri's child, or he was the initial contributor or the author of it.
Exactly. And I already had Dimitri on the podcast, and we talk about that. And I know it because, the entire design with the Duke, with the bindings. And I saw why it looks so strange. And it was also fresh breath. And I watched also the presentation from Dimitri at Java 1, and I always enjoyed that. So this is why. Okay. So my suggestion is I will invite you back to talk about Helidon. And this is now, just the very interesting discussion, JSON-B. I didn't knew that you actually spend time with JSON-B. So, and very important projects. I'm really curious about your efforts in JSON-B compilation
it's actually this compilation stuff. This is not about the JSON itself or the JSON-B API.
A new project, I know. It's reading faster.
Yeah.
But this is why it's interesting. So the fresh approach to what you can do with modern Java, even. I would start with Java 17 or even Java 21. Maybe you can use records internally. That's really interesting. What you could do with modern Java. This is a really interesting one. Okay, where people can find you on the internet? your Twitter, Blue Sky, whatever.
I'm having a Twitter account. But it should be. I'm not using it much, but I will be definitely happy to answer any questions which might come up. And the Twitter is Verdant. I don't know how to properly say it. Should I spell it out?
The show notes as well, but maybe if you search for David Kral, right? So they will find you probably.
David, very likely,
David Kral on the internet. David Kral, Oracle, David Kral, Helidon. They will find you. Do you have blog or something else? YouTube blog or whatever?
No, I do not. I actually, I'm thinking about starting some blog or being active in this area as well, because I think that I'm having quite a lot of things which might be interesting for people. So this is a thought which I'm having for some time already, but I didn't realize.
But do it on your own domain. It should be yours.
Yeah. I'm having a domain which I would like to use it for. So
okay, cool. So it was a great conversation. I enjoyed a lot. We met at GeekCon 2 months ago, right?
Yep.
And and this is how the conversation started. And thank you a lot.
Thank you very much for having me here.